Hi, everybody. What is today? October
Today, Friday, August
29th.
29th. Yes.
And we're ending the month of August. So Ness
Fun.
is here, our
Yes.
astrologer, and she's going to give us a lowdown of what she's seen. What
Yes,
she's
for
seen. I like your
September.
hair too, by the way.
Oh, thank you. It's the same one, the short little French bob. Maybe you should sport a French bob yourself.
I could, I'm too lazy. So, okay, girlfriend. So what is 411? You seen anything spectacular?
Yeah, so September, we'll get into it a little bit more a little bit later, but September as a whole is about eclipse season. So we're looking mostly at the eclipses and unpacking that. And then also with the eclipse season, we're also having some great positions for Mercury and the Sun. So there's going to be a lot of clarity for the collective. So folks, if you're feeling like the Mercury retrograde that happened in July and August really got you down and was really hard for you to think clearly and feel like you were able to articulate the way you wanted to, you're going to have the most lucid communications and clarity of the whole entire year in September. A lot of
Oh, yay.
insights, a lot of truths being revealed, because that's what happens when you have clarity with Mercury in a very auspicious placement. Within the first week or so, you're going to start to see where all the lies are, and then you can move forward and have a better experience of all that clarity and communication. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. How about you? I'm so curious about your psychic hits in terms of September. Like, how are you feeling about September as a whole? Like, when you
Well,
feel
I'll
into that.
probably do a video today of my hits,
Hmm.
but I feel it. Well, you saw that Trump told uh, Vice President Harris she doesn't have. I guess Biden extended it for her.
6 months. So, a normal vice president, when they leave the office, they have 6 months of security, Secret Service, and then Biden extended it for an extra 6 months. And so the 6 month period would have been July 21st of this year. And so she was supposed to enjoy this bonus 6 months right now till I think, yeah, till January of next year. That was all it was. And yeah, he signed to rescind it.
Yeah, and she's going on her book tour.
Oh, oh my gosh, that's a burn. That was personal.
She hopefully they have the money to pay for, some
Yeah.
sort of people to take care of her.
That's vindictive. That's
Oh,
very
he's
vindictive.
just an awful person. It's really sad.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
really sad.
It's almost like an energetic way of like, I want you to be vulnerable when you go out and do this book tour a bit. Like, I want you to be a little bit
Let me tell
watching
you,
over
he
your
doesn't
shoulder.
know these things. Somebody whispered in his ear.
Okay. Like Stephen Miller might have done this or
I
someone else
feel
like,
Stephen Miller is huge. Did
okay.
you hear Jared is coming back in the loop now?
Yeah, I heard there was a meeting this week with Tony Blair of all people. He was there. I was like, yeah, the old Prime Minister of the UK. He
Yeah.
was at a meeting. Jared Kushner was there. I don't know who else was there. For folks in the chat, feel free to add who else was in this meeting. But there was a meeting this week that occurred. It wasn't a meeting that was planned. A meeting occurred with Jared Kushner, Tony Blair, and other folks where they were talking about a post-Gaza future. I know. I know. I mean, I don't think Palestinians were involved in that conversation.
No,
Like,
they weren't involved.
and Jared Kushner is the godson of Bibi. Netanyahu
Oh,
is the
I know.
godfather of Jared Kushner. So there's a tie there that goes much decades for him because I think he's in his 40s, Jared Kushner.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's something you have to do when you're young. So
Jeez.
yeah, and Tony Blair. When was the last time we thought about Tony Blair? Like that was.
I would not picture him as somebody who would be in on the lowest form of excrement.
Yeah, I mean, he must just have ties or something or influence from his days of
Or they're
being.
trying to pay him something. Maybe he was broke and they said, we'll give you this money if you
Oh,
come and act
interesting.
like you support us.
Yeah. I think he had issues. He was the prime minister when UK was being pulled into the Iraq war, correct? I think he was the prime minister at the time. And he
Yeah.
was like when the US was like, there's weapons of mass destruction, Tony Blair was having to fight its people to say, yes, we should send. And I think he ended up doing it and he ended up being very unpopular because
Yeah,
of it.
because there was no weapons of mass
Yeah.
destruction.
Yeah, exactly. So. Very,
So,
very, yeah. So that was, yeah, Jared Kushner is coming back into the picture. I'm so curious about your hits about Gaza. I feel I'm a baby intuitive. I'm nowhere anywhere near you, but I feel it's coming to an end very soon, like the next 4 to 6 months. I
yeah.
don't think the ending is going to be nice. Like I don't think when we say enough is enough or whatever the collective feels like enough is enough, it's going to look nice. Like I think it's going to get worse, but I don't feel it more than 6 months. Like, how are you feeling that timeline in terms of
Well, I don't know
Gaza?
timeline very well.
Okay.
I like people want to know when Orange Crush is going to explode, and I can't tell you when, but
Hmm.
I can tell you I know he's going to go down. And I
Okay.
can tell you who else is going down, Netanyahu.
Yes. They're so
So
energetically
I wouldn't
connected.
doubt it is something within the next 6 months.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. The Epstein stuff is coming to light now when you think about the heels of both Gaza and the Iraq 12-day war, because who benefits from
Right, exactly.
who benefits from that coming out? Not just maybe Dems in terms of trying to out Trump. Like other people are benefiting if that gets exposed. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I I feel Gaza is cut up in pieces. So I don't know if they're, but the Palestinians, what he's done is he's caused other nations to work totally against him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Other nations are saying, "Oh hell no,"
Yeah. And we in America we don't really. Yeah.
including Israel. Israel
Yeah.
is marching against him
I
right.
know. I saw your show with Nath, and he talked about how Tel Aviv had one of the largest protests ever against Gaza, and it's because they want the hostages back. They
Yeah,
believe this strategy, this last military front, is basically signing those death certificates if those
exactly.
those hostages are alive. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if you also know that they did in Israel, they called the last reserves for the military front. And so I think it's 60,000 reservists are being called to basically in the next 6 months to be deployed into Gaza, which I think is tied to the protests because
Okay.
60, I mean, I think Israel's not that large of a population. I think it's like 5 million or 2 million as a country. And so 60,000 reservists is pretty high in terms of folks that are not even out there or who have not even been deployed at all, but are new people that would be deployed is a very prominent number for given that population. So,
Right. And what do you think about us standing in Venezuela, sending our young men out there?
I think I'm going to use one of your words. I think this is a nothing burger. I think this is one of his distraction, deflection type tactics. And I
Okay.
think he, especially like, look over there, look over there. And so I don't feel it's going that much, but I think he's kind of waiting for Venezuela to take the bait because he wants to like poke the bear and distract in that regard. Yeah.
Well, also, Venezuelans got a pretty large army.
The
If we start
population.
shedding blood, American blood over there, the people will be angry at him, at Trump.
Yes, the Latin America, like if you look at the countries like Brazil and like they have quite a bit of population that we might not, in our little bubble in America, we might not be aware of. Like they'll
Yeah,
fight back.
yeah.
They will fight
So
back. Yeah.
you feel like this is a nothing burger, but I feel like something will happen because of this. That's my feeling.
Oh, interesting. Like a death or like a conflict.
A conflict.
Okay, like it might spiral. I mean, we
I thought he loved all dictators. I was surprised he didn't like Maduro.
maybe it's the one dictator that didn't worship his feet, like didn't send a
Probably,
gift.
probably.
It's the one dictator that challenged him.
Yeah. But the aspects for September look okay, a little
It's
kinder.
yeah. Yeah, it looks well, so it's eclipse season. So are you familiar with eclipse season and like or
Not
what's
really.
your understanding? Okay. So this is a great explainer and we'll get into it a bit more, but eclipse season as a whole is the metaphor I give to understand eclipse season is like the game of pinball. You know, when you play pinball or back in the day when you had a Nokia phone, you might have played snakes. You know, where you watch the oh no, you didn't. Okay. So it's like a little digital game where you kind of watch something hit little things. And so pinball, like you're a ball that's kind of going in a particular direction. So when you move through life, you're kind of heading a timeline, and which is great to also like work with you, Linda, or another reader, because when you're heading down a timeline, you can work with someone and they can pull the energies of where you're heading, like you're about to head this direction. You can get feedback and you can change it, and I want to go this way.
Right.
But so you're usually heading down a trajectory in life, and eclipse season is this great moment of redirection. This moment of where you get redirect like a pinball. Like you were going this way, now you're going that way. And it's really divinely guided. So eclipses are about being redirected, and it's not about anything you do. So you have to sort of
Right.
surrender to the eclipses, and you need to just like surrender to it. But if you are being redirected, and everyone around you is being redirected, because we as humans, we don't like change at all. We get frustrated, we get annoyed. So this is a period where we're going to be a little bit agitated. We might be kind of trigger happy, whether in the chat, we might just be a little bit triggered by each other. We might, when we're driving, we might see more road rage. Out in the world, you might be more triggered by your family members because you're experiencing change and you're trying to get your head around it. Your family, your friends, your neighbors, everyone's experiencing change. And so for eclipse season, it's not a good time to like manifest or do anything like that. It's just a time to surrender, to ground. And it's really meant to kind of clean things up, have those redirects help us in different ways. And so that at a high level is in September. But I know in the regular like logical world, we have Congress coming back in September. And so
Yes.
and we have a lot of military or National Guard in DC that in theory might leave or might not leave when Congress comes back. What is your feeling about that when Congress come? What is okay, how do I say this? I just want to talk about this. Iowa, did you hear about that district got won in Iowa?
I know it
Um,
was
it was a
beautiful.
Republican district, and they flipped a Democratic candidate flipped the seat by 10 points, and they got 20% of a vote that traditionally went to Republicans. And today, I don't know if you saw the news, today, Joni Ernst, the U.S. Senator of Iowa, announced she is not seeking re-election in 2026. Has a
No, I didn't see that.
Yes, she has a military background, so she's tried and true. She's been there for I think why I think almost a decade. So folks in the chat, feel free to correct me there. But she's been there for more than a decade. Strong military background, strong record, and she's an Iowa senator. She's said she's not seeking re-election, and so the people are fighting back. And I think because of Trump's decline, they know he can't campaign for them both in 2026 successfully, but very much not in 2028. Like he will
Yeah.
not be cognitively there to campaign in 2028. So I think the Republican group is a bit splitting, and I feel this is intuitive and logic. I feel the Congress we're going to get come back that's going to come back September 2nd is going to be a different type of Congress than what we've seen before.
She's a senator.
She's a senator. Yes, yes. So what are your feelings about this Congress that comes back? The House.
Well, listen, RFK blew it too.
Oh, I know
What
this
he
week.
did is causing a lot of upset.
Did you watch the video when they were cheering as they left the building? Okay, so two CDC people, I think two were fired or one was fired, and then a bunch of
And a
people
bunch
quit.
left, a
A bunch
bunch of
quit. And then
doctors.
as they left the building, all the workers came out and clapped in procession like a parade while they hold their boxes like they were leaving. And they were just like they were almost like rock stars, like
Yeah.
as they were leaving. It was for folks, you should check the video. It's on TikTok, it's on YouTube.
But it's horrible what can happen to the United States because of this.
I know.
They're
And this
just
is
letting people like right now,
yeah.
California is going through another COVID.
Yes, I know I saw that, especially
And
my county too. Yeah.
and I'll be wearing a mask when I go to Southern California because I'm not going to risk it.
Yeah, especially the airports. Airports are
Yeah.
yeah.
I always get sick at airports.
Me too. Me too. It's and also when you are in airports, don't avoid carbs because carbs reduce your immune system. So like sugars and oh, do you want to pause this so you can
No, that's okay. I checked in while I was talking to you.
oh good,
This is a
multitasking.
spam. I get so many spams. It's not even funny.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to tell you, there's an app you can put on your phone to block it. It will just
Does
like
it work?
no, not 50% of the time. Sorry. I'm suggesting a tool that doesn't work 100% of the time.
Okay.
But I'll share the one that works 50% of the time with you. But yeah, I think what are your hits about the Congress that's coming back? Do you feel it's going to be the same Congress that comes back September 2nd, or do you think they've been thinking about things, reflecting on things,
I think they've
kind of
been thinking and reflecting.
And what version do you think we're gonna get
And
when they
I
come back?
also feel they know that Trump's not well.
Yes, I know.
And I feel like you're going to see them, Johnson will still be the same idiot.
Mhm.
Here they're going to bring military into cities when his city is the highest crime rate ever.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that with Gavin Newsom? He did a presentation. He listed each county or each state, its crime rate, and just said, "Well, why aren't we sending it over there? The National Guard over there? Why aren't we sending the
Yeah.
National Guard
Well,
over there?"
he can say anything he wants. The bottom line is this guy is a vengeful, malicious,
Very vengeful.
orange turd. He's just a horrible person. And he's about ready. And did you see he wants to name the Kennedy Center the Trump Center?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
nothing he touches will stay. It's
No.
all going to be reversed.
Yeah. Yes, it
But
will be.
I feel they'll be more resistant.
By the Congress when they've come back. What have you like if you feel into their energies of what they've been thinking about? You mentioned that they've been thinking about his health. So they might have even gotten information that because I feel maybe Trump is not being told about his health. Like I think
I
he
feel that that it's like a lot of families don't tell their loved one they have cancer.
yeah, that's what I
That's what
feel
I'm
too.
feeling.
I feel like I feel like he's sort of putting it together though too, but then he's sort of like in denial, but then he's sort of putting it together. Like I think he's kind of flipping flop back and forth. So yeah. Okay, so you're seeing a Congress that's going to be different, but not
And also
radically
that
different.
his ratings are right plummeting.
There was a new rating or a poll this week, and I think last week it was 38% approval, and then this week it was 37. So
Yeah. And Nicole Kidman, not the actress. Nicole Wallace on one of her shows said 33% on one of the polls.
what is the bottom for him? Would it be like
Well, we
20?
start getting in the 20s, it's over. And
Yes.
Vance is worse than him. Vance is
Oh
in
my
the
gosh.
20s.
Oh, did you see the interview he did in the past 24 hours?
No.
This interview? I forget who interviewed. I think it was a Fox News person, and he lied blatantly, of course. But he was like, Trump's in good health, et cetera, and just boasted and talked up Trump. And then at the very end, he said this, but God forbid anything happens to him. I think I've been tried and tested the past 6 months, and and like very qualified to lead the job. And so it's it was this like, I don't think he needed to say that. I don't think he
But
needed
he's
to
not
say
going to
that at
have
all.
the support like Trump did.
No,
People
no.
will resent him.
Oh, yes. I mean, they already do. They already do. We've talked about this on the last show where he doesn't give leadership vibes. He just gives like very much that meme about him, the
Yeah,
the Oompa.
Maybelline man.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Okay. And then the late night comedy shows are going to come back in September too.
Yes.
So it's interesting because we're also having some auspicious Mercury and Sun conjunctions, which I'll get into in just a second. But I'm curious if their retorts are going to be a lot more biting. Like we might see a whole new version of like Colbert and Seth Meyers and
Colbert's got nothing to lose.
I know, but then he's also been reflecting this time because I think in August they take a break as well, like Congress does. So, and The View, I'm so curious about the women of The View. And sometimes the women of The View say things that I wonder if they're a little psychic in terms of
Like what? I never
like
watch it.
oh, I watch it a bit. Like I watch it while I'm like folding laundry and stuff, but they sort of hint at the election maybe not being real many times. They actually posed a question to Clinton when he was visiting. He had a book tour 3 months ago, Bill Clinton, and et cetera. And then they made some vague statement about it, and then he said, "Well, I assume the results are true unless I'm given information otherwise," like something like that. And I was like, "Ooh." It's like a little
Right,
salty there.
right.
So, okay, one other thing I want to ask you about before we go into September is Melania. So Melania's been MIA this almost the entire election, I'm sorry, presidency, the past 6 months. But this week she had two appearances. I think one she talked about the shooting, the horrible shooting that happened in Minnesota, I believe.
Yeah,
And so she talked about how it has to do with social media and online bullying and how you need to just like, um, you know, protect the children online in different ways. But I mean, goodness gracious, you just go to the tech companies and say, knock, knock, we just gave you all this money to clean it up.
right.
Um, but she also did something else too. I think there was some other a new initiative she's starting now, which I'm just curious about her being public with two big events this week with Trump declining. Do you think she's understanding Trump is declining and she
She
needs to
understands he's declining. She
she
might
understand?
even be trying to cover for him a little bit.
Okay, so you think maybe she's making these appearances to kind of cover for him?
Yeah, for him. But you know what? She's glad he's going.
Oh, interesting. Like it's about time in her mind. Like she's like, oh,
But
yeah.
she feels bad for her son because her son will lose a father.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting when there's like an age gap and there might be a more transactional relationship that might be between them that they might be waiting on that TikTok moment
Right, right.
in a different way. Okay, well then let's get right into it. We'll get into the astrology of September. Before I do that, I'm going to just do a little bit of an infomercial about some of the things. Oh, actually, there's one thing I wanted to share with you. I love your use of Occam's razor. The
Yeah.
yeah, so I want to share. I have another one similar to that that I want to share with y'all that I think you would your audience would love to have too. Okay, so the first one was just highlighting what Linda introduced again this week, which is Occam's razor. And this is basically when you have two options or two explanations of why something is what it is, choose the simplest one because that's the
Yeah.
more likely reason. And that's great for us because a lot of these planetary astrology placements are moving into air signs. So we're going to, at a collective level, be much better at how we process information and how we analyze data. We're just going to make better decisions. We're going to be more discerning. And so when you shared that, Linda, I was like, oh my gosh, she's right on right on schedule with this. Like, this is what we need to know about how we can process information, process the news, how we can read in between the lines much better. So that's the one that you shared. And I have one to share myself, which is called the Swiss cheese method. Okay, so this is a model to help explain how accidents happen, how failures happen. Like think about Chernobyl. I don't know if you are familiar with. Did you watch the Chernobyl TV show? This the series that was on Showtime.
Yes, that was good.
That was good. But when you remember when you watched the Chernobyl, they talked about how multiple things failed. Like this was
Yes.
supposed to help and this was supposed to help. So the Swiss cheese model is a model to explain how accidents happen and how we have multiple steps, but they each fail. And so like one thing will kind of go through and then it'll catch it, but then one thing will get through a hole of one layer, and then another thing will kind of go through the first layer, but then the second layer will catch it. And then sometimes something will go through all three. And I bring this up because I feel like this is where we are in our political system, where we expected certain things to catch things. Like this had to do with our voters and our elections of maybe they were doing strategies was discouraging people to go to vote, or maybe getting rid of mailing voting. You know, that might have been Democrat or something. And so like this is like the holes, and this is also what we need to do later to fix the holes when it comes to making sure our Congress feels like safer in different ways, or our Supreme Court is more balanced. So we're going to have to go back later and fix the layers, fix the holes. But I
Right.
thought this would be great for folks to be aware of because this is what we're going to do later. This is a visual about COVID, about how we looked at the different layers, vaccines, masks, and we kind of fix the hole so we can prevent disease. Sorry, I'm super nerdy, and I just thought when you share the Occam's razor, I thought I could share the Swiss cheese model because I can't wait post Trump when we're going to be able to pass constitutional amendments and we're
Oh,
going
it's
to
going to
be
be
able to fit
wonderful.
and maybe voter ID, like not in a discriminatory way, but in a way where we can authentically verify we voted, it was counted, and maybe move to a much better, more beautiful system. Okay.
Yes, did you hear that Justice Roberts and the gang, when
Yeah.
they gave Trump carte blanche and told him he could fire who he wanted, they said, whatever you do, though, don't touch the
Federal Reserve.
monetary
Yeah.
agencies. Did you
I
see
heard
that?
I haven't legitimately fact checked that, but I've heard that told to me. So I that sounds very familiar. Like they've never actually no one's ever actually touched the Federal Reserve in terms of like the executive.
Right.
Um,
I think she's going to get back in.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, she fought back. She I think she's also a lawyer herself, or like has
Yeah.
and so she fought back, and I don't think he has the favor of the powers that be to do that too. So like, you know, influences in government, influences in the economy, because when that happened, I don't know if you saw the US dollar went down right away.
Yes, right away.
that was like the biggest drop in one day. The US dollar's been slowly declining, but we had the biggest drop in one day when that happened. It was quite.
And the stock market is dropping. It's just, a couple of hundred points, but still.
Yeah, it's not good. And there's like many historical events. I don't know if you're familiar with Heather Cox Richardson. She's
Yeah,
this
I like her.
YouTube. I love her. I love these women on you just like yourself and others that are just sharing amazing information because the news can be so kind of dominated by other voices like traditional media. But she just tells you like it's straight. And she talked about the last time the presidential um department, the executive branch, try to meddle with the Federal Reserve and the stagflation that it created and all the other issues. Like history is very clear. We keep these groups separate. We don't have these coming together. So yeah, I saw that and that makes me a little bit nervous in terms of what's to come. Okay, so folks, I'm going to do my little infomercial bit and then we're going to go into the actual September astrology. This is just the trade of me being here. I have to talk a little bit about myself. So I offer astrology readings. The one I'm really passionate about is a 2025 transit reading. That's kind of my main special. If I was a chef, that's the main special that I do. It's not about the year 2025. It's about an event that happens in 2025, which is the five outer planets are just floating, having experiences, and they all happen to change signs in 6 months, which is very short for these like slow moving planets. But not only do they change signs, they kind of come together in dialogue with each other. They're actually like communicating, sharing. They're kind of creating a UN in your chart, and they're going to work together and create change that's going to unfold for you for the next 3 years. So you were heading this way, and this event happens and you turn and now you're going to head this way. It's a kind of a turning the ship of your life. And so if you do a session with me, we will get a sense of where it's happening. So for example, Linda and I are both Libra risings, and so we're having a very joyous experience. We're actually having a lot of joy, a lot of fun, a lot of pleasure, but we're also sort of moving into a mentorship teaching role in different ways of like having joy, but also learning to kind of help the other people kind of come along in different ways. And I think you do it very much so with your YouTube show of like being able to communicate, but you also have a lot of events this year. But
Yeah.
Linda, you might actually move into some sort of teaching role, mentorship role possibly in the next 6 to 8 years with your particular placements. And so if you book with me, we'll get a sense of where this is happening in your chart. Are you having a work story? Are you having a teaching story? Are you having a spiritual story, etc.? I also launched this week my 2026 calendar. So I create a personalized calendar for folks, and I've actually sold more than half already. I launched it on Monday, and Linda, you actually pulled cards in our member session, and you said that it was going to sell out. And I was like, how could I
Huh?
sell out? And so what this is it's going to be 12 sheets, one for each month. It's a calendar. And it will have the planetary paths, so kind of the path each planet takes for that month, overlapped on your natal chart. So what you're seeing here is my natal chart. And in particular, there's going to be a pile up in January. Do you see this? Five planets are all going to pile up. So it's a very transformative month. And for me, it's kind of happening really close to my moon. And so this is something that I have created, and I will send out the first week of December. I've sold over, I think, 80 so far. And you can purchase it. It's custom. It also includes a description of the full moon and new moon for that month. And it's customized to your rising sign. So it gives you recommendations on how to work with those full moon, new moon energies. And Linda, you're going to get one. I'm going to mail one copy to you. So
Oh,
you'll,
thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah. So you can understand more about how to like orient and forecast for the month when it comes to your own astrology. Yeah. And it seems like I might sell out of the 150. And so what I will do is I will possibly hire someone to make the additional 200. I think I'm just going to cap it at 200, but that one's going to be priced a little higher than 88. So because I have to pay someone to help make that because I have my own commitments for this year. So folks, if you are interested, reply to the description below, the link below to kind of book, and then if we sell out the first 150, that you will still have an opportunity to purchase it, but it'll just be at a higher rate because I have to hire someone else. And there's digital PDFs and there's also prints. I will also make prints for folks who want a hard copy and don't want a digital file. And yeah, I just launched it this Monday, and we're more than halfway
That's
sold out.
great. That's wonderful.
Yes, and then I have two classes. I'll go through this quickly, but this one class is on 11/11 of this year. This is some of the content, the slides we had for class. I also create customized material and worksheets for folks. So this
Oh
is a
my
very
God,
hands
you're busy.
I know it's a very hands-on. I love to teach. I love teaching with folks and making demystifying astrology and making it more easier or woo-woo, just making woo-woo more tangible. And so I have this class 11/11. The post-class survey was great. And I'm teaching an astrology fundamentals course the 10th. Yeah, I'm very busy. October 11th of this year. This is actually a smaller class. The manifestation class is a lot larger, but this one's going to be a smaller class. So yeah, reply to that. And now we go to September's astrology. So the main event with September is eclipse season. And when I first looked at September's astrology, I was like, okay, yeah, it's eclipse season. But the astrology this year has been so intense. This is probably going to be just like a walk in the park because we've just dealt with so much Uranus changing signs, Neptune and Saturn changing signs. Like those are a bit more prominent. But the eclipses, as I shared earlier, are these redirect points. You know, there you were heading this way and now you're being redirected, and the redirect is for our highest good. And so, in a way, this eclipse season is actually processing all the energies that just happened the past few months, all these big energies that just happened, so we can be redirected to a more positive thing. So, for example, Congress is coming back in September. I wouldn't be surprised if they make big moves like they actually have a spine in some ways and they take a stand as opposed to always just going with the flow and if they don't they're going to be sort of forced to like there's a redirect that's going to happen likely for them. So eclipse season as a whole is a period of redirects for like a detoxification and purification of ourselves, and
I
this
mean,
eclipse
you just got done saying Joni Ernst said she's not going to run again.
exactly.
Maybe they're seeing the writing on the walls.
I think, and Heather Cox Richardson says the same thing. She thinks because of Trump's decline, they realize he can't campaign for them. They can't, like they're not going to be able to have that backing. And they also saw that Iowa House, that flip of Iowa, that's like everyone, they're all shaking in their boots, man.
That was
Like,
huge, I
that was
guess.
huge. It wasn't like a California district that kind of swang both ways. This was a tried and tested Republican district, and also close to both of us, Chico. I don't know if you saw the town hall of Chico about 2 weeks ago. So Chico's a Republican district, very, very Republican. I think it's 2 hours from me, or maybe 3 hours from me in terms of where it is. But they had their House representative do a town hall, and they were yelling, they were shouting, "Why are you doing the Medicaid cuts? Why are you doing this?" And
Oh, yeah, they're pissed.
they're so pissed. And this is not a progressive type, this is a very traditional Republican district, and they are not used to yelling at there's not a history of just
No, no.
heckling their representative. So I think we're gonna maybe see more of that. The Congress people acting, having different actions, like Joni and others. Like it'll be an interesting thing for folks to watch how the Congress respond, especially the Epstein press conference that's happening on September
September
3rd.
3rd.
Yeah, that'll be
And
quite
the book
interesting.
that's coming out. I pre-ordered her book.
Oh yeah, Virginia Dufresne.
Yeah.
Actually, someone there was an article about something that was mentioned in it. I think it was either it was Clinton, Bill Clinton was mentioned in it, or if it was, but she actually said in her documentary that Bill Clinton was an inappropriate person, um, or maybe it was Prince Andrew. There was one thing's already been leaked about what's in the book, and so you can folks you can Google that and look at what it is,
I
but
never thought Clinton was, he took those plane rides, but he took them to other countries. He
I
never went to the island. And he's not into little
So
girls.
there's I don't think I think I think he likes women.
Yeah.
But I do think I think there are records he was at the island because some people did go to the island, but they kept it kosher. Like they just deliberately kept it super kosher. It's in the documentary too that there were
Yeah.
some events at the island that were kosher, but by just getting someone to the island, it creates the stain, the
Yeah.
stink.
And Bill Gates too. I never felt he was a molester, but we'll see.
But do you remember his wife? Do you remember what happened with his wife? When
No.
it came out that Bill Gates had a connection to Epstein, his wife divorced him right away.
Oh.
And so I mean, and Melinda Gates, she does so much for the community. She does so much for like women's issues and etc. I trust her instincts on
Oh
this.
yeah.
So that's there's like an interview about it where she's asked directly and she doesn't say it, but her energy says it. Like how her body posture says it of like I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna answer that question type of thing. So yeah, so sorry, going back to September, September 2025, this is going to be a month marked by the eclipses. And the eclipses are going to be about redirects that are going to happen in folks' life. And this is actually in the Virgo Pisces axes. So, folks, be aware if you've got planets in the Virgo and Pisces house, you're a Virgo sun. So, that's going to be very, for you to have planets kind of eclipse like near if your eclipse is close to your birthday, that means the next 12 months you'll have a very revolutionary type of year. There'll be a lot of changes that will possibly happen for you. I have to look at other planets in your chart to kind of really say that definitively, but for folks that are having a birthday close to an eclipse, like a couple days off, it's a very transformative type of year that will happen for
What
folks.
date is the eclipse?
I will get into it. The eclipses are September 7th, which is a Pisces. Let me find the name of it. This is the a lunar eclipse, and then the solar eclipse is on September 21st. And so one of them is more prominent. The 21st one is more prominent than the one on the 7th. Your birthday is the
It's the
10th.
10th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one will probably affect you more, and we can talk about that. But this is the one I want folks to really watch out for because that's the big one in terms of the energies. But yeah, so the eclipse is the first thing. The second thing is we'll have a lot more clarity of communication. Both Mercury and the Sun is in a very positive placement, especially in Virgo. And then we kind of end on a bang where Mars squares Pluto. So there's some sort of conflict that happens because Mars is like, bravery, passion, intensity, war, and then Pluto is like transformation. It's just these are intense energies for them to square at the end of the month. So let's go into the first one. This is the eclipse I recommend folks to keep in mind more so than what happens here on on the 7th. So this is a solar eclipse, which is like a new moon eclipse, new beginnings, new starts, but kind of to the 10th power. It's also happening on the equinox, which is just a lot of powerful energies this day. So with this new moon eclipse, the solar eclipse, there's a lot of focus on planting new seeds, starting new things around Virgo themes, like new health habits, new daily habits, new routines, focusing on details, focusing on health, possibly recharging. And it's going to happen opposite Saturn. So there's something karmic, something very disciplined about this new eclipse of karmically. Our chickens are coming home to roost. So if you're neglecting your health in certain ways, you're going to sort of be held to account on September 21st. If you're neglecting your life, your routines, your pets in different ways, like maybe you're not maybe giving the health supplements to the pet that you need to, or walk, you're going to sort of be forced to do that. And you're going to plant new seeds here on September 21st that are going to basically foreshadow how you're going to spend the next 6 months. There's a lot of new redirects happening when it comes to health, when it comes to daily habits, routines, etc. The other one is the lunar eclipse, which is happening close to your birthday. And this one is a culmination. This is like a full moon energies to the 10th power. It's actually trining Jupiter, so it's very nice. It's actually helped out by Jupiter's energy. So that's actually good for you, Linda, for your birthday, because you're going to be helped out a bit by Jupiter for this particular year. But this is where the Virgo one is more about the body and daily habits and routines and your health. The Pisces eclipse is more about spiritual health, energetic health, it's your subconscious. So I wouldn't be surprised if folks feel a bit more psychic around this September 7th or have very interesting dreams. And there's a
Oh,
focus of like seeing the forest for the trees and looking at the bigger picture. So you might feel more compassionate and might feel more forgiving of things. And you might also focus on healing in different ways because you have that bigger view.
okay.
And then the rest of the month, a lot of clarity. I'm going to just go through that. It's like pretty fast, but we end on a bang. We kind of end on a bang on September 24th, where Mars in Scorpio squares Pluto in Aquarius. And so, especially this is kind of like week 3 or week 4 of Congress. So I would imagine things might come to a head in terms of like where they decide they want to settle in, especially that first week if they're Congress is trying to test the waters of how much they're going to push back Trump or not. They're likely going to be very pronounced with how they do this because Mars in Scorpio squaring Pluto in Aquarius is power struggles. It's kind of domination energies, conquering. It's like seeing people as friend or foe. Like you're not able to see the grays or the nuances. Like, are you my enemy? Or are you my friend? Are you going to help me? Or are you fighting against me? A lot of trust issues too, kind of in that collective energy. But there's a
Can
sense,
that collective energy even be the world as a whole
yes,
with military action and
yes,
stuff?
Mars often rules military too. So,
Yeah.
and Scorpio and Pluto are death and destruction. So there could be what you're feeling with there could be something dire with Gaza that could happen a couple of days before and after. Also, your Venezuela thing you were picking up on, there could be
Yeah.
some loss of lives because of this. And there's likely separations happening with this particular day where like relationships end, where you're exiting, you're moving different alliances could possibly end. There's something that could possibly happen with that. And on a, it's interesting too because you mentioned the COVID is going up. I wouldn't be surprised because Virgo is very health oriented. So this could be something where the COVID numbers are starting to go high, and so this could be clear that the CDC that just got fired was kind of needed for some of these. Like we might start to
Right.
realize.
Fortunately, it's not a terrible one. It's not as bad
Yeah,
as the
it's not as yeah, it's not the first strand of COVID of 2020. It's not going to create death, but it could create complications where like the hospitals are overwhelmed in other
yeah,
ways or something like that.
yeah.
So yeah, that is September as a whole. The big ones to watch out for is basically this third week. We have this major eclipse here in Virgo, and then we have this major event that happens. And I wouldn't be surprised if the activities that happen here kind of lead to what happens here on the 24th. So that's kind of the description as a whole. That's how I would describe astrology for September. I'm so curious, how are you feeling in terms of the eclipse seasons? Like what do you feel on your level? You often get folks ask questions like, "Hey, can you pull cards on the eclipse?"
No,
Yeah.
I don't. I don't feel the eclipses I've had astrologers tell me about, and
Hmm.
I haven't. The thing that affects me is any Mercury retrograde, I can tell.
Okay. Yeah, because you're a Virgo sun, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So when Mercury is in a auspicious, well, then for you, with Mercury being in such an positive arrangement, and I can show you another visual of this. So if here's the path that the planets are taking, but oops, but do you see this? This is Mercury for September. That's the path, and the sun is there. So it's kind
Wow.
of like we have a Mercury cazimi the entire month of September. So this is a great month for writing for folks that are writing, like writing books, writing scripts, writing contracts. This is a great moment for having clarity, like going to therapy and being able to understand why you're feeling what you're feeling and being able to talk about it. It's mostly in Virgo, so there's a sense of details. I wouldn't be surprised if your verbal wit for your
Goes on
YouTube
the,
videos
yeah.
just will be so good. I was watching your non-live that you did a couple days ago, and you were talking about how Trump wrote in his newsletter how he wants to get to heaven. And you had responded with some joke about like, well, if that's all it took, I could just, send you some money now. Like,
Oh,
and
he was letting his people know he needs money because he wants to go to heaven.
yeah, exactly. He wants to go to
I
heaven.
said, well, if you need money to get going, I'll
I
send you some cash
I
as we speak.
I was walking while I was listening to that, and I just laughed out loud. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So, with Mercury being in a positive placement, I would recommend folks to watch Linda during
Ah,
September.
thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, then that's the astrology for September. That's
Okay.
all I have. Yeah.
So I get military stuff is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Land changes, earth changes. I'm feeling more towards the end of September,
Hmm.
uh, more upsets as far as water is concerned.
Hmm. Like the hurricane season.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We've been lucky so far.
I know they come really close and then they just go off.
Then they drift off. So the angels are looking after us.
Yeah. But September and October is hurricane season too. So
Yeah.
we're
But
not out.
also,
Hmm.
um, they are closing Alligator
I know.
Prison.
And so many of you readers actually, when you pulled on that, you saw that it was going to be short-lived. Like And you posted on your channel $450 million.
Yes, was spent. They try to act like Satan did it, but he wasn't the one. He put some money in, but they put money, a lot of money. That Christy Nome goes through money
It's
like it's
Yeah,
fluid.
I mean, yeah, I remember the big beautiful bill. I think they had increased was like 100 billion or something and I watched your show with Nate. He also said, and haven't fact checked it, that they have a sign-on bonus of 50,000.
Yes,
So I imagine they have to stay on the job for a
they
year
must be
or 2 years.
desperate for people. And then they're going up and arresting firemen who are fighting, battling these forest fires.
I know, I saw that. I saw that. That was like they were, I think, in the middle of
That's a
battling a
shame.
fire, and they went over. I don't have you saw also in DC with the National Guard there. What happens is in DC, the restaurant community is super impacted. And so folks don't go to the restaurants as much because they just don't like seeing military in the streets. And so they started folks who live in DC would order food delivery, like DoorDash or Uber.
Right. They were arresting the DoorDash people.
Exactly. That's what started happening. They started arresting the DoorDash folks, and so they're actually having a hard time not only uh, filling the seats in the restaurant. What now they can't even deliver the food, and so restaurants are actually going under. I think
I
there was
know,
a
and he's up there bragging about, our friends say, sir, he always says that.
yeah, I
I
know.
have friends, Democrats and Republicans. Sir, my wife and I were able to go out for a meal. Bullpucky.
Yeah.
Bullpucky. That's a
No.
flat out lie.
Yeah, The Guardian had an article where it was a restaurant that was for 20 years in DC, and their workers had been there for like 10, 20, 10, 15 years. Like they're not new, and then they were rounded up by ICE. And so it's the folks don't want to go to a restaurant to see the military walking by. The workers in the restaurant are being gathered up, and then the deliveries. Like, what's going to happen with the restaurant industry? And DC's restaurant scene is really very good,
Yeah,
very international, very melting pot. If you in the mood for anything, you're going to find it in DC, and
that's a
so
shame. And
it's
then he's
quite a
going to go
shame.
up there and lie and say everybody's thanking him. And let me tell you something else. I think
Hmm.
I watched a video. Let's see if I can see it real quick because you know how sometimes you can see your history.
Yeah, I love that feature with YouTube.
Um, uh, Here they are. My life, 50 years I've been here, I've never been harassed by Border Patrol on
Yep.
this side of the border.
Yep.
Like, oh, this is a San Diego, but I think it was Nebraska. And there's a couple who have a farm, with cows.
Hmm.
And they said, we voted for Trump in
Yeah.
16, 20, 24.
Yeah.
And now he's gotten rid of all our workers. So we have to close the farm. We have to file for bankruptcy.
Yep.
And I just told my husband last night, who knew that voting for him would destroy us?
Yep.
And then they said, well, we can tell you now, we'll never vote for him again.
Yep.
I don't want people to be afraid that he's going to come back. He's not even going to be around. That's my hit.
Yeah.
I don't want you to worry. He's not because, Gavin Newsom was saying his people are sending him hats, Trump 28. No, there won't be no Trump 28.
No, that's just goading him or
But why doesn't that green guy, what's his name?
green
Grassley?
Ross. Oh yeah, Chuck
He's
Grassley.
90 something. He's going to run again.
I think he's delusional.
Jesus Christ.
You have to be kind of delusional sometimes to run to begin with. So yeah, I think that's
Well, they said a lot of those halls are like geriatric halls.
yeah.
A lot of them are in wheelchairs and have diapers and everything.
Yeah. I think there was last year a congressperson of Texas who didn't go to Congress for a while and was actually in a hospice place or was in a home for a while or maybe she was having a medical treatment for like 3 months and we just didn't know. Like it was kind of kept hush
That's how
hush.
they kept it secret. Yep.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting. Yeah, I think the next few months will be interesting. I think the eclipse season will be interesting to see how Congress comes back. I think it'll be September will be interesting to see post the Epstein women, the victims of Epstein when they have that
Yeah,
press conference. I think that'll be I'm actually just feeling a little bit of that energy. I think it's going to be beautiful. I think they're going to have beautiful speeches. I think they're going to
yeah.
write
And do
really,
you think
really.
Trump will try to say squirrel? Is he going to try to bomb Venezuela? Or is he going
I
to do
think he'll try,
something?
but I think the news will basically all carry it. I think their speeches. I think something. I'm feeling that right now. I think someone is one. I think each woman is going to speak. I don't think it's just one person. Maybe I think they'll maybe have a couple moments to say like 2 minutes, and I think the speeches that they. I think it's going to touch us. I think we're going to
Us?
feel that, and I think as much as he tries, I think he can't. Like, I think the news will just keep carrying the story of the
Right,
speeches.
right.
So, yeah, so we'll see September for Congress. We'll see how they come back and how they have a backbone or not. We'll see the late night comedy shows come back. So we'll see their biting retort. South Park did a bit about the ICE recruitment. I don't know if you saw that
No,
episode.
I've never watched South Park.
Okay, yeah, I think it's the third episode or something, but they basically made it sound like it was like an idiot test to just be recruited, and you just had to like you could hit any answer, and then you would be yes, you passed kind of thing, and
Yeah, yeah.
out and starting to shoot at people. It was quite
That's funny.
yeah, it was a quite a good. Well, thank you,
Oh,
Linda.
well, thank you, my friend. I'm going to
Yeah.
get ready to do. Nicole sent me the prayers. I've got hundreds of prayers.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for today. For today.
Yeah.
Oh, and one last thing. Let me just share with folks for the calendar. Just folks, if you want to have one of these calendars, please reply. I possibly will sell out today, given the folks' response to it. But then I'm going to create a second batch. So it's all chronological, and then we'll process your orders as it
And
goes.
is it in that stuff that I'm going to post?
Yeah, it's going to be in the link in the description below because it's yeah, I mean I want to make these really beautiful and nice and I think people have responded with how this depicts things and how it shows their own forecast. So I didn't expect to be halfway sold out within 4 days or
You
something.
didn't
So
expect, I told you.
you did tell me you did pull cards. You can pull cards, but I don't feel it, you know. So but you
So
were right. You were
thank you
right.
guys for watching, and you'll be back at the end of September for October.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
and we'll look at what happened during the eclipse season. So
Yeah, see if we hit it right.
yes. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone.
Thanks, sweetie.
Okay.
Thanks everyone for coming. Cheers.